Hello there. I'm going to be running through a little set of exercises today I like to call Be Kind to Your Core. Now, contrary to popular belief, the core doesn't just mean your abdomen muscles. It comprises of, a three-dimensional layer of muscles around your abdomen, your sides, your spine, your lower back, your pelvic floor, your diaphragm. Some may argue as well it comprises of your shoulders and your legs as well, because basically your core is what stabilises you in all of your movements and prevents you from receiving any injury in those areas, which is why it's so important to keep it strong. But I also like to think of it as our sort of force power centre, because our core is where a lot of our energy and force is generated for movements that we are doing on a day-to-day basis. So having a good strong core a good strong core will enable you to perform those movements and actions more efficiently, more effectively, and without injury. So that's why it's so important to look after it. However, for a lot of us, myself included, I had severe diastasis recti after my pregnancies. So much so, what that is a separation of the abdomen muscles and the fascia. I was told that I would need surgery in order to repair it, but me being me said, no, I'm going to try and do this naturally. And I have. I've still got a little way to go, but we're all a work in progress. But the next exercises that I'm going to go through with you are really gentle, and they are really good for if you are postnatal, if you've had any kind of stomach operations, hernias, etc. However, before you perform any of the exercises, please do make sure that you get clearance from your medical provider, doctor, midwife. But they are all very gentle but extremely effective. And I tell most of my clients to perform these on a daily basis, because they don't only strengthen the core, but they help you with your balance, proprioception, and as I say, just enabling you to perform your day-to-day functions, day-to-day activities. So I do prefer to do more functional exercises which incorporate sort of compound movements, so more than one muscular system, because in our day-to-day life we don't just do sit-ups. We don't just isolate particular muscles. We use all of our muscles in conjunction. So I prefer to do things like deadlifts and overhead squats, etc., because that more mimics what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. But today we are just going to do it gently on the floor and just really focus on strengthening those core muscles. So today, when I tell you to engage your core, a lot of people automatically go and suck everything up and under the ribs. Well, that's no good, because one, you can't breathe properly and you need to be able to breathe. And two, you're compressing and compromising everything within the rib cage, including your diaphragm and all your breathing apparatus. That is not engaging your core, okay? We've all been there, we've all done it. When we engage your core, you're wanting to bring everything in and back towards the spine. So there is a lift in the pelvic floor because we're bringing it all together, but the lift should not be going up into our rib cage. The way I like to envision it is that you've got a zipper that starts at your pelvic floor and that gradually zips up, and it's pulling everything together as it does so. So if you take a big deep breath in, fill your lungs with lovely energy, and as you breathe out, imagine that zipper zipping up, pulling everything together, okay? Pulling it up from the pelvic floor and in together and back towards the spine. So pulling your belly button back towards the spine. Another good way of envisaging it is that you've got a corset, and as you breathe out, that pulls everything in and back towards the spine, okay? If you're doing it correctly, you should still be able to breathe and talk whilst doing so. So when I say engage your core, we do that. When you're laying on the floor, there shouldn't be an arch in your lower back, okay? Your back should be flat against the floor. And the best way of doing that, again, is to envision that a corset is pulling everything back down towards your spine, okay? So we're really protecting our spine by pulling our belly button back towards our spine. It takes time, it takes a little coordination, and this is why I insist to everybody that they practice these exercises on a day-to-day basis, and eventually it will become second nature and you won't even have to think about it. Without further ado, let's crack on with our Be Kind to Your Core session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, pull up your pelvic floor and bring your belly button back towards your spine so your core is thoroughly engaged, and use that to help you to lift your foot off of the floor in front of you. Keep your torso upright, try not to tilt to the front or the side or backwards. Really use your core to keep you stabilised and balanced. As with our previous exercise, take a deep breath in, and as you release that breath, lift your leg to the side laterally, squeeze in and engage in the core as you do so. Remember to keep your torso upright, try not to let it pendulum from side to side. Take a deep breath in, and as you release that breath, engage your core, pull up your pelvic floor and take that leg back behind you. Squeeze in your glutes as you do so. Again, keep that torso nice and straight. Don't let yourself wobble from side to side, forwards or backwards. This is one of my all-time favourite exercises, and I recommend it to all of my clients and my class members. We're basically incorporating all of our previous movements in one smooth rainbow arch from front to back and back again. Again, we're engaging our core the entire time as we're taking it out in a wide circling arch. Okay, at first you might find this a little difficult balance-wise. If you need to tap your foot down in front or behind between each arch, please do so. Just make sure you keep your core engaged throughout and keep persevering, guys. Most of the people I know who I've advised to do this movement haven't been able to do it at first, but now are absolute whizzes at it. So don't give up, and eventually you can progress on to putting resistance bands around your ankles and pushing out against the resistance bands for an extra workout. Before you commence this exercise, do make sure there's no gap between your lower back and the floor. The way that you can make sure your back is connected and that your core is engaged thoroughly, lift your bottom off of the floor in a bridge position and then slowly lower your spine onto the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae, until your back is connected to the floor. Engage the core, pull in your pelvic floor muscles, and then take a big deep breath in. As you breathe out, slide the heel along the floor and then lift it just slightly off of the floor. Hold it there and then take a big deep breath in and drag that heel back along the floor towards you. As you breathe out, push the other foot out. Hold it just above floor level. Hello, pussycat. As you breathe in, drag that heel back along the floor and keep going. Breathing out, pushing that heel out, core engaged, lower back connected with the floor. Breathing in, pulling, dragging that heel along the floor back to a neutral position. Keep going, guys. Don't forget, engage your core at all time and keep breathing. Again, ensuring that your back is connected to the floor, knees bent, you're raising one foot off of the floor and then gently dropping down the heel, lifting it up again. As you breathe out, connecting back to the floor, pelvic floor engaged, core engaged, dropping that heel to the floor. And then as you breathe in, pull that foot back up, and then we're going to go with the other leg. So taking a big deep breath in, as you breathe out, pushing that heel down to the ground, bringing it back up. Remember, engage your core, pull that tummy button back towards the floor, back towards your spine as you're lowering that heel, dropping that heel to the floor. This is a progression from the single heel drop, so do make sure that you've mastered the previous exercise before you attempt this, especially if you are postnatal or post-operation. So both knees start off in the air, And as you breathe out, you're pushing one to the ground, holding it there and bringing it back in as you breathe in. Remember, engage core and pelvic floor. Ensuring that your back is connected to the floor, and make sure that your pelvic floor and your core are engaged. Your heels should be close to your bottom, and we're going to lift the bottom off of the floor, squeezing the glutes as we do so, and breathing in as we lower. Breathe out, engage the core, squeeze the glutes, breathe in, breathe out, squeeze the glutes, engage the core, and lower. Excellent. Thank you for joining me today, guys. And remember, whilst it's important to be kind to your core, it's also important to be kind to the rest of yourself as well, and to one another. Stay happy, stay healthy, and keep smiling, guys. See you soon.